Aurora Cannabis is one of the world's largest and leading cannabis companies. Headquartered in Edmonton, Alberta, the company has a funded capacity in excess of 500,000 kilograms per year and sales and operations in 23 countries across 5 continents. Aurora is involved in all elements of the cannabis supply chain, from facility engineering and design to cannabis breeding and genetics research, cannabis and hemp production, derivatives, high value add product development, home cultivation, wholesale and retail distribution. Aurora Cannabis has 15 wholly owned subsidiary companies, including MedRelief, Canvas RX, Aurora Deutschland, and has strategic partnerships with a range of companies, including Radiant Technologies Inc., Hemco Food and Fiber Inc., and McCann Group Limited. Aurora Cannabis trades on the New York Stock Exchange and the Toronto Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol ACB.
Joining me now is Chief Corporate Officer of Aurora Cannabis, Cam Battley. Cam, welcome back.
Nice to see you again.
Cam, the news is all about Aurora Sun these days.
All of the news?
Well, all the news that I've been following, and it's largely because you've got a facility now that you're basically saying is going to be more technologically advanced than Aurora Sky, is going to produce more cannabis than Aurora Sky, and do so in a much more sophisticated manner. Tell us about that.
Well, it is a big piece of news, and I think, do you guys have a photo that I took this week of Aurora Sky itself?
Okay, there we go.
You guys are good. So what you're looking at there is one of the 17 flower rooms at Aurora Sky, 34,000 square feet. And what you're looking at there, in addition, is incredibly happy, healthy plants. Just look at them. They're perfect. And in this particular photo, and I actually have it up on my Twitter account at Cam Battley as well, we're not using lights because we're using the sun. And we're getting plenty of light from the sun, no need for the lights. But the beauty of this is we have validated the Sky class concept. That's what Aurora Sky has done. That's an 800,000 square foot facility producing over 100,000 kilograms of cannabis per year. And we believe that we're going to do so at Sky for less than $1 a gram. Now, the news this week out of Aurora Sun in Medicine Hat, which we're constructing right now, is that we're upsizing it or supersizing it from 1.2 million square feet to 1.6 million square feet. And the amount of cannabis that we'll produce there, we anticipate will be in excess of 230,000 kilograms per year.
Whoa, that's a lot of cannabis.
It's a lot of cannabis.
So if I was a betting man, I would suggest that you are obviously building feedstock for a global export market.
Yeah. So we our read, based on a lot of travel, like you, we've been traveling a lot. I've recently come back from Australia and Israel and Europe. Is the demand for legal regulated cannabis is exploding around the world. There's more than 40 countries now with either intact or in place medical cannabis systems, or that have announced that they're going to create and establish new medical cannabis systems. And there's a massive shortage of legal regulated product. There's no shortage of cannabis in the world, but there's a huge shortage of legal regulated cannabis. So we have the opportunity, by scaling up now and producing a tremendous amount of premium cannabis at low costs, it puts us in the driver's seat for now, and that's a very exciting position to be in. In addition, at some point in the future, people have speculated that there could be oversupply in Canada. Well, that doesn't really worry us because we're going to be producing premium product at a much lower price than virtually anybody else. I don't think too many producers will be able to match the cost that we're able to
One of the aspects of the global cannabis marketplace that is overlooked by many investors, is not really front and center in the conversation, is the idea that if you're going to export a product for medical consumption in another country, it has to be EU GMP certified.
Oh, how I love those letters. EU GMP.
I wish it spelled something more phonic.
There must be some anagrams we could come up with, maybe something rude. Yes, so there are 8 EU GMP certified production facilities in the world. One of them is Bedrocan BV in the Netherlands. The other 7 are Canadian. We have 2 of them. And we also have our EU GMP certified distributor, Aurora Deutschland, formerly Pedanios. it's our intention to continue with the audits and get the rest of our production facilities EU GMP certified. Okay, so that's the highest level of certification in the world, the same level of certification demanded of European pharmaceutical companies, and we believe it'll be adopted as a standard by other countries around the world as a means of ensuring that they have high quality, properly regulated products entering their newly created medical cannabis systems. So right now things are going exceedingly well for Aurora. Production is hitting that hockey stick that we always anticipated once the first of our Sky class facilities came on board. We have every single room at Sky populated and in production right now, and we're getting the yields that we needed. So in order to say that we believe that we validated this, you need to be able to say that you're getting the yields that you expected so that you could end up with 100,000 plus kilograms per year. Mm-hmm. In fact, we're a little bit ahead of that. So this gives us a tremendous amount of confidence. We're doing exceedingly well. Right.
That's very exciting. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious now, so right as of the last sort of data set, we know that Aurora and Canopy were over 50% of the cannabis sold in Canada.
In Canada, in the consumer market.
In the consumer market.
Yeah.
So we know that currently the market is in undersupply. So are you going to single-handedly cause oversupply in Canada by having suddenly this ton, literally tons of cannabis for sale?
I've been accused of a lot of things, but never single-handedly causing oversupply. So no, I don't think that will happen. I think you may see some pressure on some of the smaller, less efficient producers who are not able, who don't have a differentiating or distinguishing feature and are not able to produce particularly economically. The product's going to be there. The question is, who's going to produce it? Where's it going to come from? How high quality will it be? And at what cost? And we like to look to the future where we're going to be producing a very significant amount of both the medical and the consumer cannabis consumed in Canada. But beyond that, and I would say as a top priority, we are going to be exporting our Canadian-produced medical cannabis around the world. The demand is there. We've got the product now. We're going to have a heck of a lot more of it next year, and we're going to be shipping it around the world.
Sure. So in your peregrinations around the planet...
Peregrinations?
Do you like that one, do you?
I do.
I spent all night thinking that one up. Do you get the sense that ex of the United States, which has obviously got a protectionist president in place, but ex of the United States, do you get a sense that the global marketplace for cannabis is going to be a free and open market?
It has to be. At least for now, it has to be. You take a look at Germany. We just, we haven't talked about this, but we won 5 of the 13 tenders to supply the German system, which means we're cemented into Germany, and we're going to be building a production facility there. Great news. But the German government also came out and very realistically said we're going to be importing for quite some time, because they know that, based on these initial tenders or even far more tenders, there's no way that there would be enough domestically produced in Germany in the short term to be able to satisfy the needs of patients in a rapidly growing system, by the way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're going to be exporting from Canada into Germany for quite some time, and a number of other countries. And the reason for that is very, very simple. There just aren't legal, regulated production facilities in countries around the world. There's only a very, very small number around the world. Most of them are now in Canada. And fortunately, we're one of the companies that actually has enough product to be able to supply the domestic medical system, the domestic consumer system, and have excess to ship overseas and receive a premium price for. So it's a very enviable situation that we're in right now.
Sure, you bet. And so far has the other buzz that sort of surrounds Aurora when you bring it up in conversation.
Sorry, the what? The buzz?
The buzz, yes. The buzz. The conversation. The the zeitgeist.
The zeitgeist. Okay.
It surrounds what's going to happen with Nelson Peltz there, and you made it very clear that you're not looking for a Constellation type of takeover arrangement. You're looking to create multiple partnerships with global players around the world, and I'm assuming that that's something that we're still anticipating that will be a result of your recruitment of Mr. Peltz to your board.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really funny. We were initially a little bit puzzled when Canopy did their deal with Constellation, and then Kronos did their deal with Altria. That everybody kept saying, "You have to have a deal like that, Aurora." Well, why? Is that necessary? And quite frankly, there was a little bit of everybody's got to follow the leader ethic at play. And we sat back and looked at things a little bit differently. And I like to think that that's the way we do things at Aurora. We sit back and look at things a little bit differently, the way we do with cultivation and our entire business strategy. And we said, do we actually have to make a deal with one company in one mature industry and give up control? We don't think so. So our plan is optimally, touch wood, we hope it works out, is to work with Nelson Peltz, who's frankly amazing. He's really great to work with. Wow. And see if we can't put together multiple partnerships in multiple different verticals. If you think of all the verticals that are affected by cannabis, either via disruption or by the creation of new and enhanced opportunities, it's so many things. You know, we know about Kronos and tobacco, but take a look at wellness products. Take a look at not just beverage alcohol, but non-alcoholic beverages, cosmetics and beauty, and pharma. And the list goes on if you want to add different segments of consumer packaged goods. So the opportunities are significant, and we want to see if it's possible for our cannabis company to play in multiple verticals. We think it is possible, and I can't think of anybody better than Nelson Peltz to help us navigate this.
Excellent, Cam. Well, that's a great update, as per usual. We're going to cut it there for now because there's so much more to come. And we'll have you back soon. Thanks for joining me today.
Cool.